Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you are brand new, welcome. My name is Yasmin, and if you're a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Please do share if you love this video, and drop me a comment and subscribe. It'd be lovely to have you in the crew, in the tribe. Today I wanted to talk about a few things. Before I do, first of all, there's an echo in this room. I'm not in my normal location, so you may need to turn the volume down slightly to reduce the echo. Apologies for that, it's what I have today. So the way that I'm looking at it is sound resonance. It's got to produce some good vibrations, right? So a few things I want to talk about: spiritual teachers, modalities of healing, energy reading. I want to talk about building bridges so that we don't have separation anymore, and the fatigue that we're feeling with the collective consciousness. Now, let me start with the spiritual teachers. Now, this has been on my mind for a long time to speak about. I did a live on it on Facebook, so if you don't follow me on Facebook already, please do hit the links below and follow me there. And you can see the interaction of people and their thoughts about this, but I'd love to hear yours too. Now, as we are ascending from the 3D world into the 5D world, there's going to be certain modalities, spiritual teachers and leaders that aren't going to resonate anymore. And for a long time, I have found I haven't resonated with a lot of people. There's very, very few people I resonate with. And the reason for that is as I'm ascending and I'm learning my truth in this, I'm finding that some of the modalities are stuck in the past, they're stuck in limitations, they're stuck in blocks, they're stuck in symbology. And that's not where I'm headed. I understand the more expansive that I become and the more higher up in the dimensions, everything becomes simpler. Nothing is that rule bound or difficult. And I really wanted to share that with you because there's some modalities I feel keep you guys trapped. And is that for your highest and best? Probably not. I am going to name some, which is a bit controversial, and I am going to name a few spiritual people, and it is only from my perspective, my truth, my highest and best. I would implore you to do exactly the same. It's 100% okay to disagree with me. It is what resonates with you. I'm just inviting you to look at it differently. Think again about the things that you know, because as the world around us is changing, as we're finding out more and more truths, as we're feeling that we might have been misled in places, that does reflect into the spiritual community. And by that I mean there's people that have been around for many, many years, systems, healing modalities that have brought you in, they've built trust. And once they've got you in, they will tie you into a vibration that might not be necessarily for your highest and best. And know that everything that you learn and everything that you experience in energy healing, in your spiritual growth, nothing is going to keep you fulfilled for a long period of time. As you grow, you will find that things fall away, that you don't resonate with them. Now, to give you an example, you might bought a load of books. There might be some spiritual healing books, books written by spiritual people, and you look at them and you're like, that doesn't resonate anymore. I don't feel like I want to take that book off the shelf and read it, like that you're in avoidance of it. Now, of course, you might be in avoidance of it because you are frightened about what it's going to bring up for you. But sometimes in avoidance because we recognize that what it's going to show us is something we might not want to see right now, we might not be ready for it. But then there's the flip side of, am I in avoidance of it because I've outgrown it? And the majority of the time you can grab hold of a book and ask from your heart space, do I need to be reading this book now? Is this going to teach me anything different to what I already know? And I guarantee you probably know more than you think you know. What happens in these books is they've been regurgitated, the modalities have been regurgitated. There has been teachings that have been said again and again and again. And what happens is that you may need to hear it from a different perspective, and that's why you might have the aha moments. But they are pretty much the same. How much more do you need to keep reading of the same books that we can find internally? And that's what I want you to find. So just to recap, this is my perception from my truth. Your truth might be different, and do you know what? That's absolutely 100% okay. We're all at different places of exploration of ourselves in the spiritual world and the realms. So I encourage you to learn more about where you're at. So you're going to hear me say think and think again, think again. I'm going to ask you to do the 360 thinking, and the reason I want you to do that is because I would love for you to really think of things in a different way. So if you see an opinion, I want you to be able to feel that opinion in your body. Feel it inside of you, in your full body. So your mental, your physical, your spiritual, your emotional. And these bodies is what we should be reflecting back on to see, does that sit well with me? Like emotionally, does it trigger me in some way? Mentally, am I shutting it down? Physically, is my body showing me a response as if to say, no, that doesn't work? And spiritually, how aligned is it to my growth? So you've got lots of ways of giving you a signal, you know, as your heart space would give you a signal, as your gut would give you a signal. You know, sometimes your gut just tightens, or your heart, your chest tightens, and you're like, no, that doesn't feel good. And I know that when I've tried to do certain things because I thought I needed them because everyone else was doing it, it seemed to be the in thing, so I'll go and do it, I was still getting that kind of tightness as if to say, you don't need to do this, don't do this. And actually, when I've gone ahead and done it, proved me right 100%. So really listen to your bodies. I'm just offering you another perspective, okay? So what I really want to start with, I've got some notes here, so let me just go off my notes so I'm in order. As I said, what's going on in the world around us is what's going on in the spiritual community as well. In every facet of life, this is going on, and there's a dismantling of all of it before we can recreate again in the new form, the truth, the 5D, the 3D world. That grid does not work anymore, okay? So we're having to expand in different ways, and in order to do that, these things need to fall down. Now, to capture your interest, you will find healing modalities, spiritual teachers, and spiritual people putting out really good content, right? So I'm not disputing some of the content, okay? Because I do believe that, you know, A Course in Miracles has some amazing things in there. I do believe that there are other modalities. I'm going to talk about A Course in Miracles, and where I studied Theta has amazing things in there. So it is about the buy-in. But there are things that I don't agree with both of those, and I'll expand on a few more as well, and I'll explain why. So you might read things, even Wayne Dyer, for instance. You'll read the comments, the books, the quotes, and you'll be like, yeah, I really resonate with that. But at some point, they've got to buy you in, all right? So they buy you in, and the image of it is not true to what's happening. Osho is an amazing example of this. His books, his writing is beautiful, but he led a life of, you know, sex and cars and money and things like that. And he doesn't necessarily align with the spiritual message that he was, you know, coming out with. So there's two faces that we're looking for. That we're not looking for the dark and light. We're entering into the light, which means shed the dark. You know, there's lots of people saying there's two faces. You've got to embrace your dark to get into the light. Do you actually? You just have to detach yourself, release yourself from your dark, so you are a whole light being. If you think about yourself as a soul and your soul family and your soul mates, and then you think about your oversouls, which is the kind of hierarchy of souls. The oversoul controls the group, not controls, they're like the keeper of that particular soul family. And then when above that you have another realm, and above that you might have another realm, and it all goes back to one thing, the light. It all goes back to source energy, creator, the light. So in that place there is no room for darkness. So when we're talking about duality, that's something that we've really got to look at, because in 5D there isn't a duality, there isn't a masculine, feminine, there isn't a yin yang, there isn't a dark light, there is only light, there is only oneness, there is only, yes, of course in this realm we differentiate between male and female because of our sexual organs, but we are of one, we're the essence of one, and that's where we're rooting back to. So With years and years of programming, they've brought you in. They've brought you in to believe their way of being. This is how you meditate. This is how you should be. This is what you should be practicing. And because we are seekers and we're seeking the knowledge, in actual fact, what we're doing is trying to seek the knowledge to get the self-connection so we can go back to oneness, funny that, and go back to light. Some of these things are really going to resonate. So I'm not knocking the phrases or some of the teachings. It's the people that are delivering it that does not feel fully aligned. And I'll explain, okay? So it's taken years of buy-in. They say the right things, the things that you want to hear, the things that you resonate with. And then they come in with slightly different opinions. Now, to give you, excuse me a second. I'm going to throw some examples at you, and again, this is my experience, and I implore you to find your version of this. So you might not agree with the names that I'm putting out here, you might not agree with the modalities, but I'm asking you to think again. All right, if this whole world is changing for the better, and if we're going through this massive transition, we've also got to look towards what is wrong in the spiritual world, what doesn't align. And it actually, wrong is probably not the right word, is what doesn't align with me in the spiritual world. Because again, there is no wrong and right, it's only right for you right now, if that makes sense. So, I'm going to give you an example. Marianne Williamson, A Course in Miracles. When I channeled, did she actually write A Course in Miracles? It's really interesting because I heard no. Now, I don't know the background of this. I'm just going from my channel. So she may or may not have written it. It may not have come through a collaboration. I can't tell you. I haven't studied it. I've never been drawn to it. I've never wanted to do it. But my channel says it didn't wholly come from her. And was it part channel? Yes, it was. Were there other people involved? I hear yes, there was. Nothing wrong with that at all, okay? Because there's always a collaboration somewhere, support-wise, right? But when I heard her speak, and I heard her speak here in London, and I think it was in St. Peter's Church in Piccadilly, forgive me if I've got the location wrong, it was packed full. And all she talked about was politics and war and how war brings resolutions. Now that did not feel right to me for a spiritual person. That did not feel good in my heart. And in that day, I was very surprised to see lots of people getting up and walking out. And I think probably the half of the audience got up and walked out. And at the end, I waited because I really wanted to hear the Q&As, although I was still feeling quite triggered because it didn't resonate with me at all. Nothing that she said resonated with me. Yet the Course in Miracles has got some amazing content in it. So I waited for the Q&A and the questions were coming out to her, and it was a complete political agenda. She didn't answer any of them concisely. I could hear the dissatisfaction, and even more people left during the Q&A. Now, if we're coming from a place of oneness, we're not promoting war. War is never the answer to anything, you know. Coming together and understanding differences and knowing that Mother Earth is our land, as a shared race, is where we're meant to be. It's not about this plot of land's mine, that's yours. And yes, of course, when you buy land, it becomes a boundary. I get that. But Earth is supposed to be a free place, and yet we pay for everything, right down to the air we breathe sometimes, depending on where we are. It's quite boundaried. So I thought, well, what else has jarred me about Marianne Williamson? And I remember reading an article, so I looked it up to see what the context was. And there was a thing where when Trump was in administration, he basically said that Marianne Williamson should be locked up because some of the things that she was saying. Her retort was Trump should be thrown into a forest and hunted. Now that is not a spiritual thing to say, you know. Yes, we have differences, but that's quite a vile, almost satanic thing to say. Hunting humans, I was like, that's really questionable, and I don't understand how someone who's supposed to be one of love and peace says these words, for example. And then when I looked at some of the things of the Course in Miracles, she says a lot about love and forgiveness and compassion, yet she's not coming from that place. So there's a misalignment for me right there. Now I'm an energy reader, so I go by instinctively how I feel. And more often than not, my body will give me a non-verbal response to something before the verbal communication comes into, the clairaudience comes into my mind and I can verbalize it. So my body reacts first, and my body kind of goes, oh no, I don't like that, before I hear the words or the channel. So what I'm saying to you is feel into your full bodies and find out what you feel about it. The same goes for when I went to see Shaman Durek live, and I was really impressed with his delivery, and he's very joyful, and you know, he captivates an audience with his stories, and he talks about his experiences and his celebrity clients, which I'm going to come to in a moment. And he was really, really engaging. And in the break, I went up and I said to him, look, I'm an energy worker too. I really like the way you come across. You're very direct. I can learn quite a lot from you about how I communicate, because I'm quite direct too. And he said, what do you do? I said, I'm an intuitive guide, I'm a psychic medium, and immediately he shut me down. When people shut you down immediately, there's some fear there. And when I went back to my seat, I thought, oh, that was a weird experience. I wonder what that was. And in the second half, he absolutely slated psychics. And I was like, that's really interesting. So he clearly is trying to deflect me because I might see something that he feels threatened by. And when that happens, I know something's off. So it was really interesting to see these things happen and wonder why people get so defensive. You know, if somebody came to me, if I was giving a talk and say, look, I'm an energy worker too, I'd be embracing them, going, yes, that's amazing. You know, we need more of you. Come out into the light, you know, share what you've got to the world, you know. The way that I see it, and I often say this in my group in Soul School, an amazing membership group that I have of women where we go on a spiritual wellness journey, I'm often saying, you are my teachers, you know. I'm not here to just lead, I'm here to learn from you. We are all equal, and there is no ego in this spiritual world. And if we are faced with ego, we have to question what is going on with that spiritual teacher. And the moment I feel like I'm in ego, I have to bring myself down again, because I'm no better than the next person. Every one of you has the same capacity as I do to channel from any place that I do, to channel to the extent that I do. The difference between most of you and I, or any other spiritual teacher, is we're more practiced. It's not about being gifted. Anyone can work at this. And yes, I saw, you know, guides and people on the other side from a very, very young age, but probably so did you, but you didn't recognize that that's what it was. So we're no different from you, we're equals. We're of the same, we come from the same place. So when you see spiritual teachers in that ego, it's like, I'm here to do it for you. I'm the one you come to. I'm the one you're tied into. I often question that, you know, and I'm very much of a person that says, how does it feel for you in your heart to continue working with me? Do you feel like you want to take a break, or what do you feel? I'll always offer it back, because I think that we need to learn and get that feedback for ourselves about, this is feeling good for me, or I feel like I need a pause, or I'll come back to you at a later time, or not at all. And that's a decision we all need to learn to make. So there's a few other people that I question, and I'll throw them out there for you. And again, it's only from my perspective. I urge you to do the same with yourself. The other person that I question is Wayne Dyer. I've never really been drawn to him, and I tried to do some research to find out why I wasn't drawn to him. I was always feeling and hearing that he's not authentic. And when I did a little bit of research and I looked around, did some digging, it turns out that he had been known to be a bit of a predator with women. That was very opposing to the image he puts out as a spiritual teacher, or one of consciousness, raising awareness, because there's another side to him that I wasn't feeling 100%, well, there was a side to him I wasn't feeling drawn to, and there the light was shed. So that did not feel comfortable for me. Again, Teal Swan is another person that I do not align myself with at all. In fact, I find it very difficult to watch her videos, and anything that I have watched, I feel that there's a dark agenda. She seems to be obsessed with death and suicide, which is not a path of enlightenment. The enlightenment we're supposed to be experiencing is through the light in this lifetime, not experiencing it through death or suicide. So that never sit well with me. And actually some of the things that she said when this whole pandemic started, and about wearing masks, about feeling suffocated, and that they're stealing our voice, I didn't resonate with. I still feel that we have a voice, and I thought that was the wrong agenda to be posting out upon. But again, make your own mind about it. Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, Abraham Hicks, all of these I do not resonate with. I almost get a visceral reaction through my body with all of them. I cannot listen to them because I just feel I just don't feel aligned. My body says it before anything else says it. Now, this is only me. So again, I've said it a few times, I'll keep reminding you, you've got to come from a place of where you're at right now. Let me explain why some of these people also don't resonate with me. Now, at the moment, with what's going on in the world with celebrity culture is a real empty piece at the moment, as in we are just like mesmerized by these celebrities who lead this life of materialism, and quite empty actually. We're following their dramas in life. Now, I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to that because it's a very empty way of being. And there's lots of aspirations for many people who are yet to be awoken that like the glamour of money and all of that kind of thing. And yes, you can earn money and lots of it doing the thing that you love and your passion. And yes, you can do it spiritually. Okay, there's a fallacy to say that you can't earn money doing spiritually, but it's who do you align yourself with? I did a workshop a while ago, many months ago actually, about gauging how old your soul might be. And celebrity are what we would call young souls, young to adult souls. And this age group of souls, let me explain that. That means the number of incarnations they've had in this lifetime. Sorry, number of incarnations they've had on Earth, not this lifetime. The number of incarnations they've had on Earth. And it could be hundreds by the time you get to become a young adult soul, right? And it could be that they've happened all, sequentially. They could be that, you arrived at the very dawn of times as one of the other civilizations, which might have been as an alien, Lemurian, Neanderthal, whatever it is. And then you went away and came back to experience this incarnation. But what they're learning what materialism means and what it means to be present. So when people are caught up in materialism and status, and I've got money and I've got cars and I've got homes and I want to be aligned to these people, that's not coming from the highest and best. That's not coming from purity, okay? By default, you may have celebrity clients, but it's really important to choose who you are aligned to, because that celebrity is also aligned to a whole load of things. Now, at the moment, celebrity culture is being really questioned, and by that I mean the things that we're seeing about sexuality, the things that we're seeing about having genderless society, which is all fine, by the way, but it is causing confusion amongst young people. What they're feeling about their political alliances, what they might be promoting. So the celebrities that, for instance, are promoting that you should be vaccinated or that you must conform to these rules. We're living on a planet of freedom. And the more rules we bind ourselves to, the more we giving away our freedoms, our sovereignty, handing over what people can do with our bodies by putting something in. And just to be very clear right now, I'm not anti-vax, I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-choice about what you do with this place that your soul lives in. How does that manifest? What controls you have over it, and whether other people are putting the controls on there. This is our home for this lifetime. We must honor it. And it's so important to know what we're putting in there and how we give our sovereignty away by allowing others to take a hold of us. So these are the kind of things I'm saying. So what does your spiritual teacher and who do they align with? And who does that celebrity align with? What belief systems are they aligning with? Because if I've got solid belief systems, I'm not going to work with someone who doesn't align with those with me. If they're stuck in a celebrity world and they're saying, please help me because I need to come out of this, fair enough. But if they're aligning themselves with the negative entities and beliefs that don't represent me, I'm not there for that. I'm not about that life at all. And I would just question, if you're doing that, what are you signing up to? Okay, so, you know, of course, Marianne Williamson, she's got an agenda for politics. What is she signing up to? And what message is she putting out into the world today about segregation, division, this party or that party? And I've said before in my videos that I don't believe there's a this or that. There's good in both sides. It's just how we choose to see it, and how we reflect upon our current leaders and what good they're actually bringing into the world. It's not about red or blue. It's actually about what goodness do each of those deliver, and what is that aligned to me in some way. Alignment is everything, and if you don't know where your alignment is, again, just go by what feels good and what feels right. Sorry, I'm in a shared space at the moment, just watching out to see if people are walking through. See what feels right, and your body, your emotions, your thought processes will give you the answers for that straight away. Okay, where am I at now? Yeah, I just wanted to mention the thing about celebrity, about sexuality, how they worship, who they worship, what language they have, which is derogatory to women, derogatory to men, the music they're putting out with, how they're trying to program you, who they're aligned to, what they support, whether there's now videos coming out with celebs devil worshipping and being very, very blatant about it, because everything you need to see is in plain sight. You just gotta tune into it. So that kind of stuff. Now let me just jump on to modalities, because this is an important one. And spiritual teachers tend to maybe run their own modalities, and I'm only going to talk about the ones that I've experienced, and the ones that I get an instant reaction about. Okay, so I come from a theta background, and I found myself after a few courses feeling very much like I didn't want to be in that family anymore. And the reason was I found it very limiting. Everything they talk about was a limiting belief, is a block. You're blocked, you've got a limiting belief, you're stuck, you've got beliefs from 3-4 lifetimes away that are still affecting you right now. All the contracts and obligations that you made, and on some level that that works, but I don't subscribe to the language that we're limited. The moment I've done so many one-to-ones with so many people, thousands of people, both one-to-one and in groups, and when they say to me they're limited, and then I talk to them about where they're limited, I understand that actually they're not limited. Their thought process has become scrambled. And by that I mean, to give you an example, I remember one client saying to me, I'm really limited, I can't do public speaking. She said, I've got a block with it. And I said, so why do you think that is? And she said, I just can't get my words out. And I said, what are you trying to say? Turns out that she was always trying to speak about the things that she didn't feel comfortable speaking about, but felt like she had to speak about them. And the moment I got her into the truth, and the moment I helped her understand what she's here to do from a soul perspective, her soul mission, her soul purpose, who she's here to serve, of how she's here to be of service. And I said, look, I'm seeing that you would be very good in this area because I can see in your life previously that you've experienced this. Your people are in this field. And I said, so if I was to break it down to you and show you that you could speak about this because you have the experience and you've gone through it, or this and this, how would that feel? And she went, do you know, I never thought about that. And I said, well, if I put you on a stage in front of 100 people, could you talk about this and not be concerned about how much information you needed to share to be of service? And she said, no, I could talk about it all day long. And I said, and how does it feel to be in front of 100 people doing this? And she went, oh, that would be amazing. She went on to do it. So the limitations is not necessarily a limitation, it's more of a you've lost your way, or you've come off the path, or you think you should be doing what other people are doing. And actually when we hone into the truth about it, it is not a limitation, okay? I just don't subscribe to that we've always got blocks and limitations. We don't. And I speak from experience because I come from a very traumatic background. I've experienced a lot of mental, physical, sexual abuse, so much, disease, cancer, major surgery, polycystic ovaries. I had a lot of stuff go on, and each one of them was trying to say to me, you just need to resolve this, you just need to meet this. And I ignored all of it until it got really, really bad. So what I'm saying is that I've been through it, I understand it, and I understand about limitations and blocks. So did I subscribe to everything that Theta had to give or to teach me? No, I didn't. And I found I didn't align with them. So when they said you had to go through a process to connect to Creator or Source Energy, initially it was really valuable and really helped me. But once I had the belief in myself, I was getting to the root issues of trauma. I was understanding what was stopping people from getting blocked in seconds. But because they were so strict about you had to follow this process, you have to hold somebody's hand to be able to read them. I'm like, I don't because I can read them. I don't even have to have them in front of me to read them. I don't even have to know their name. I don't even have to know where they live. But they all kept telling me this is what I had to do. And because it was a structure that, and I get that helps people, but it didn't help me because I felt very stuck. And subsequently, I've met lots and lots of people that said, I can't do that anymore because it's too limiting. So whilst they're telling you they're trying to get you out of a limited situation, they're continually telling you you're limited. That is 3D language, right? You are not a limited human. You're not. You're limited perhaps in the construct of your human frame, which by the way can be pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and I've done it several times myself. You're not limited. The language of limitation that we keep getting given, you're not limited, my beautiful darlings. You are so powerful, and this is what we're here to learn, that we are more powerful than we understand. And if anything's going to stop you, it's going to be the fear of your power and how much you can actually achieve. So give that a second thought, okay? So I'll throw in there Reiki, Human Design, Course in Miracles, Gene Keys, all of that kind of stuff. I just didn't resonate with any of them. I feel like, and I've been channeling this for a long time, I've been saying this, we do not need a label to tell us who we are. You don't need to know that you're a Gemini and you're a manifestor or I don't even know all the words, I don't know what Human Design says. I don't even know the words. Even when I think about it, my body cringes. That you need or you're a certain archetype. You don't need those. You are not boxed in any place. You are all of one. You have the potential of all of one. What you need to learn to realize in this lifetime, there might be a segment of that you've come to experience. But you're not limited. You're not this label. You are all of one. And the more we realize that, the more powerful we become, because it's all of a place of unity. This is where 5D is. If you want to say, I'm going to put 20 labels on who I am, you are literally putting yourself in a teeny little box. And you're saying, this is what I am, this is my box, this expanse doesn't belong to me. We are universal, Some of you are light workers, some of you are earth angels, some of you are galactics, some of you have come from different realms. Imagine the expansiveness of where you've come from, okay? To only come here to be told you need to fit into this little box, that doesn't work. That is not you. You've come from amazing places to do amazing things on this planet, and the moment we begin to realize that, everything changes, okay? So, the message that I want to say from this, the secret said something, okay? And I will quote this because I do believe in this. I do not believe that, and actually the secret, the method, I just don't go with because it's really focused on materialism. But higher spirituality does not come from external riches. You are spiritual. The richness is from within. It comes from here, not outside of ourselves. It's always an inside job, right? But this top 3 inches will tell you otherwise, the ego. So you will have a battle with the ego until you realize that you need to surrender from that narrative and come from this place, the place where we all meet as one. Okay, so if you are finding that you have a visceral reaction to certain things and you're like, oh, what is that? Check whether it's because you're resisting it and it's something you should go into, or whether you're feeling that because it doesn't align. All right, so check in with that and see how you feel. For me, there's one truth. It's source energy, it's creator, it's the light, it's God as you know it, the universe. It's the one place where we all come from, okay? So what else do I want to say to you? Yep, so I've said these words and I'll say them one more time. No one is more than you. You are equal, you have the same power. They just might be more practiced, more connected. And that's all you need to do is recognize your connection, okay? And try not to be bound into their learnings, because that then also limits your thinking, and that 3D world. 5D is looking at it from every single perspective and go, we can do this and we can do that and we can do that. We can be successful and we can help people and we can be of service and we can be a great healer, or I can be a great intuitive guide, and I can be of service, and I can do this in any realm. Where the and people. It's not the either or people. That's 3D mentality, that's duality again, okay? So have a little think about where it shows up for you in your body and what that might relate to. And one of the things that I've really liked to do is just connect with, just take a moment and ground myself. So really feel present in the moment. And then really connect with where is it showing up in my body, like which chakra, which part of me, what does that part of my body have to tell me about what I'm feeling? Why does it feel true and why doesn't it feel true? And I just listen. I become the observer of the messages. I don't create, I don't visualize, I just invite the messages in. So really good tip if anyone's looking to understand a little bit more about how to connect to these messages. I talked about building bridges, and building bridges is all about stopping this separation. You know, the moment we start labeling, we create division and separation. And I want to bridge through our connections rather than our differences. So someone might be 3D, I might be 5D, but I'm still looking for the commonality. Why? Because I want my light to shine on them. I want them to see that and come along on my journey in their own time when they decide to awaken. I still want to stay connected. Now, because of separation, we're pushing people away, right? We're separating because of the pandemic, we're not mixing, we're not hugging, we haven't got the connection. Our interaction, which was once like this, has become like this, 2 meters apart, right? That means we're not connecting with the people. We're not showing our light to these people, right? Yes, of course, if you shine bright, you can shine from anywhere, but we're keeping ourselves shut away, so we're not having that impact on other people. And what I really want to do, well, I'm doing it right now. I found myself doing it even more and more in the last few months, and I urge you to do that. But what I really want to do is share the message of how to build bridges. So if you know, when I talk about the vaccine and I talk about people that have had it, look, my opinion about it is very different to the people that are taking it. It doesn't mean that I dislike them. It doesn't mean I don't have love for them. It doesn't mean that I don't want to go anywhere near them. What it means is that I want to connect with them where I can. Because, you know, if they're in fear of it and yet they've taken it, what about if I could raise their vibrations so they could metabolize it better, right? What if I could be there for support in some way? And, you know, this isn't just going to be one round of it. This will come round a few times, because there is, I believe, another alternative agenda behind it, okay? Because if there wasn't, we wouldn't be made to take it. It wouldn't be pushed on us. It would be an offering where we made free choice with the freedom to choose whether or not we take it, okay? So do I want to walk away from the people that are less aware, less conscious, perhaps not even aligned? Not really. I want to extend my hand out to them and build on commonalities. I want to keep them close because I don't want them to get left behind. So those of you that may experience a difference with your friends and family, you can move along because you don't resonate on the same message, or you could stay tight because of your commonalities and build those bridges. It's like a spider's web. It's like every round of the web is connecting you more, connecting you more, connecting you more. Because as we raise up, we have a ripple effect on the people that are around us. And if we do not mix with and we don't keep the bridges with the people who have yet not awakened, we're cutting them off from rising up with us. And we need to take as many people up with us as possible, as many people as possible, even if there's an inkling of an awakening, even if there's a tiny little thing that they could do to, you know, to get slightly more aware, and whether it's a deeper connection to themselves and they're just exploring that, we need to do that. So rather than burn the bridges and say, I don't want anything to do with you, you're sheep, I'm like, come on in. Let me extend my hand to you. Let's have a little chat, you know, tell me about you. Let's build a connection so that my light can shine on you, my vibration can lift your vibration up. So you may be able to think again, think differently, and apply that logic or that thinking or that consciousness or that love vibration to yourself. That's what I really, really would love for you to try and do, right, as best you can, because it's not about separation. I can't promote unity if I'm saying you're 3D, you're a sheep, and I'm enlightened. That's ego, 100% in ego. I'm inviting these people in to come share my light, right? Of course boundaried, and of course protected, and of course I'm in my energy bubble so they're not sucking the life out of me, but at least I can imprint some of those high vibes on them. So show some love and light to these people. And let's try not to push them away, leave them behind, shut them down. Let's try and invite them into our world and really bring them in. I'm going to give you a little analogy. Many years ago, I was abused by a family member. Now, he's no longer with us, and I remember thinking, look, I can cut him off, or I can stand in my power and be the most brightest, compassionate person I can be. Everyone is here living out a story of a consequence of their ancestors, and they have a responsibility and a choice to wake up and change that. But it's not everyone's, not everyone will do it in this lifetime. So we have to step back and go, okay, that's their journey. But what I decided to do in this situation, because it was a family member and they would come in and out of the house, most of the time I would not be there, especially as a youngster. Excuse me. And as I got older and I was in my 30s, I remember having a barbecue at my parents' house and this person came up. But what I did know that every single time I saw this person, I was polite, okay? I was centered, I was in my power, I held my head up high. And on that day, he'd had a little bit of, had a few drinks. I was always a bit like, okay, that's a bit weird, you know, to keep my distance. But this time was really interesting, and I was super forgiving and nice because I'd kind of met it with myself. I'd healed myself at this point. Anyway, he came up to me, he held my face, and I immediately felt a little bit uncomfortable. Again, my body was just a bit tight and came back. But of course, there were many people around us, and he stared into my eyes and he said, please forgive me. Please forgive me to everything that I've done to you. He said, you've done nothing but show me compassion and kindness. And I said, that's absolutely fine. He said, I'm so sorry. And that was it. End of conversation. Now, in his lifetime, that might have been the thing that he came to learn, is the error of his ways and ask for forgiveness. That might be his life purpose done. What I was saying was I could cut him off and push him away, which is very easy to do, but you know, we're in the home and he's in and out, so you know, I was going to face him at some point. So I could either cut him off, or I could keep shining my light, stand in my power, do my healing, resonate in the highest frequency, and hopefully it will affect another person. And that is exactly what happened in this instance. So this is why I'm saying learn from this and shed your light around, shine your light, blind people with your light. It's got to be so amazing that people are like, I want to be in that vibration. How does she do that? How did he do that? How do I get to that place? And slowly we take humanity up to where it needs to be. So this is the importance of this. Finally, let's talk about fatigue. Now, I wanted to talk about the pressure we're facing at the moment. When society's constructs start to dismantle, there's a pressure. It's like a pressure cooker system. Energy becomes really intense. And this is what we've been experiencing this year. It's been very, very intense. And some of you are getting to the point where you're feeling really emotional. You're feeling tearful. You're like, when is this going to end? When are people going to see the light? We're getting frustrated. And this resistance of the collective consciousness, the pressure cooker, affects us energy workers, our sensitives, the light workers and the earth angels that are here to do great things. We're very sensitive to energies. So as an empath, you're going to feel them. And as you feel them, you're going to find yourself getting drained, feeling really, really drained. So at this time, for as long as you notice the fatigue is there, be kind to yourself. The words I heard when I channeled this was step off the grid. And what that means is step off the 3D grid in order to recuperate those energies. And I'm not saying step back into it. What I'm saying is just don't involve yourself in the 3D narrative. Yes, we're trying to bring these people into our world and our space. However, what we are really trying to do in that is to do it from a place where you're not feeling depleted. So when you're feeling that you can hold that space, go ahead and do it. But when you're feeling the fatigue, step out of the grid, disconnect, unplug, do what you need to do to recharge, because it is going to happen quite a lot. I've seen a lot of amazing people, energy workers, healers that are crashing right now because we're trying to hold space, even unconsciously, because our vibration is high. We're trying to hold space for people, and there's a lot of emotions going on at the moment, and the energies are pretty harsh, so it's exhausting. So really, really check on yourself, make sure you're taking good care of yourself. What else do I need to say? Grounding. Consistently ground. It may take a few attempts of grounding. I know that I'm having to ground myself several times in a day, particularly when I'm doing group or one-to-one sessions. I have to come away, cleanse myself, my energy, take a moment, coming back into my body, feel very, very present. So grounding practices, if you're unsure about grounding and how to do it, there's a link at the bottom for free resources. Go ahead and click on that. There's a whole piece of grounding. You'll have to sign up for an account, but it will tell you why it's important and how you can do it. Also ensure that you're consuming information that keeps your vibration high. If it is scaremongering, if it's creating separation and division, if it's the edited narrative, by that I mean obviously there is a certain agenda that's being pushed at the moment, and if that doesn't feel aligned, do not consume that information, because you will find yourself exhausted with that. So really disconnect, because your field as a energy worker or empath will be wide open, because you're like the carer, you take other people's energy and you take care of them. It's not about us giving out our energy, because we need to retain it for ourselves. And on this note, what I want to say is this is so important, because we are the people that are going to be needed. So if you're currently in this vibration and you're here to be of service in some way, whether it's in the medical field, whether you're here to heal, channel the energy to heal people, whether you're here to listen, it doesn't matter how you're here. Whether you're taking care of a parent, it's all service, okay? So really be mindful of your energies and what your energies are doing right now. And know that in the bigger plan, it will get taken care of. The exhaustion for some of us is so bad that when I've done my one-to-ones, people have been saying, when is it coming? When is it happening? When is the light going to be here? When is this ending? And when I say to people, look, I don't see this playing out until, not playing out, kind of, not even completion, but us getting to a place of calm, it's like 2025. but we will start seeing it by kind of a year to 18 months, and that's still a long time, so please take good care of yourselves. And just put your attention in the right places and not follow the lead because somebody else is doing it. Feel your body and feel the truth for yourself. Thank you for staying with me for so long, and I hope you got something out of this. You know, just keep as aligned as possible, keep listening to your bodies, and reach out if you felt this resonated. If you know that this would help someone, please share it. I would love for you to share it, get this message out a bit more. And just be well, just stay as well as you can, both in your mind, body and spirit. I love you very much. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe, check out my links below, and I hope to see you very soon. If you are interested in joining Soul School also, please check out the link below, because I have an amazing community of women, at the moment it's all women, who are the most supportive, free thinkers I've come across. There's no judgment on anything that we say. It's received openly. So if you're looking for a community where you can be free with your opinions and thoughts and bounce these off people, then this group is for you. The link is below. I hope to see you in our paths cross somewhere. Big love.